It's the middle of the night. Everything is quiet. And then, you're awake, wide awake. You look at the clock, and it seems like it's always the same time, right around 3 a.m. The house is still. The world outside is sleeping. But your mind is suddenly buzzing. Or maybe you just feel restless and uncomfortable. You lie there, trying to force yourself back to sleep, getting more and more frustrated as the minutes tick by. Will you ever get back to sleep? Will you be exhausted all day tomorrow? It's a painful reality for so many of us. This unwelcome visitor in the dead of night. You've probably tried everything. Counting sheep, reading, getting up for a bit. But that 3 a.m. hour feels like some kind of mysterious barrier you just can't get past. You might think it's just part of getting older, or maybe something more serious, and that can be worrying. But what if the answer to why this keeps happening isn't what you expect at all? What if some surprisingly simple things you're doing or not doing are actually setting your internal alarm clock for that exact time? In this video, we're going to dive deep into some of the real, often overlooked reasons why you might be waking up at 3 a.m. And more importantly, what practical steps you can start taking tonight to help stay asleep. Stick around to the very end, because the real key might just surprise you. Let's really get into this nighttime mystery. Starting with something fundamental that has a much bigger impact on our sleep than we often realize: what and when we eat and drink, especially in the hours leading up to bedtime. Think about it. Our bodies are complex systems, constantly working even when we're resting, and what we fuel them with directly affects that work. One of the most common culprits behind that 3 a.m. wake-up call can be linked to blood sugar levels. Now, you don't have to be diabetic for this to affect your sleep. Our blood sugar naturally dips overnight as we fast. For many people, a healthy body manages this dip smoothly. But if your blood sugar levels aren't quite stable, perhaps they drop too low in the middle of the night. When your blood sugar dips significantly, your body perceives this as a stressor. It releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol, those fight or flight hormones, to try and raise your blood sugar back up. And guess what those hormones are excellent at doing? Waking you up. Often, right around 3 a.m. or so, several hours after your last meal. This is especially true if your dinner was early, or if it was high in refined carbohydrates or sugar that caused a quick spike and then a crash. So, what can you do about this? It's not about eating a huge meal right before bed, which can cause its own set of problems like indigestion. Instead, think about balanced eating throughout the day. Ensure your dinner includes healthy fats, lean protein, and fiber, things that release energy slowly. Avoid sugary snacks or large amounts of simple carbs in the late evening. Some people find a very small, balanced snack about an hour or two before bed helps stabilize blood sugar overnight, something like a few nuts, a small piece of fruit with a dab of nut butter, or a little bit of plain yogurt. The key word here is small and balanced. Too much, or the wrong kind of snack, and you're back to indigestion or another sugar roller coaster. Beyond blood sugar, let's talk about when you're eating and drinking. Eating a large meal too close to bedtime can mean your digestive system is working overtime when it should be winding down. This can cause discomfort, heartburn, or just a general feeling of being unsettled that pulls you out of sleep. Aim to finish your main meal at least 2 to 3 hours before you plan to go to bed. This gives your body ample time to do the heavy lifting of digestion while you're still up and about, so it can focus on rest when you lie down. And then there's the liquid situation. It seems obvious, but it's worth mentioning because it's such a common disruptor. Drinking a lot of fluids in the hour or two before bed is almost guaranteed to send you on a trip to the bathroom in the middle of the night. And once you're up, especially if your mind is already a bit active, getting back to sleep can be tough. This isn't just about water. It includes herbal teas, juices, and certainly anything with caffeine or alcohol. Caffeine, of course, is a stimulant and can linger in your system for hours. An afternoon cup of coffee or tea might be why you're wide awake later. Alcohol, while it might initially make you feel sleepy, actually disrupts the quality of your sleep later in the night, often leading to waking up. It interferes with your REM sleep and can cause rebound alertness as your body processes it. So, try to cut off caffeine by late afternoon and alcohol several hours before bed. Limit overall fluid intake in the 2 hours leading up to sleep. Just enough to quench thirst if needed. It sounds simple, but consistently making these small adjustments to what and when you consume things in the evening can make a profound difference in preventing that frustrating 3 a.m. wake-up call driven by blood sugar dips, digestion issues, or a full bladder. Now, while managing what goes into your body is crucial, it's certainly not the only piece of this complex puzzle. Sometimes, the reasons we wake up run deeper than just our physical fuel. Continuing our exploration into the mysteries of nighttime waking. If it's not always your diet or a trip to the bathroom rousing you, another significant and incredibly common factor, especially as we navigate life's later chapters, is stress and anxiety. We might not always recognize it as clinical anxiety, but everyday worries, concerns about family, finances, health, or even just ruminating on the day's events or what needs to be done tomorrow, can have a powerful effect on our sleep architecture. When you're stressed or worried, your body is in a state of alert. However subtle, it releases cortisol, often called the stress hormone. Cortisol levels naturally fluctuate throughout the day, high in the morning to help you wake up, and low at night to allow you to sleep. However, if you're under chronic stress, or if something is particularly bothering you, your cortisol levels might not drop appropriately in the evening, and sometimes they might even spike in the early hours of the morning. This natural pattern of cortisol increasing towards dawn to prepare us to wake up can be exaggerated or shifted forward by stress, causing you to pop awake prematurely, perhaps right around that familiar 3 a.m. hour, with your mind immediately starting to race. It's a vicious cycle. You wake up stressed, and then you get stressed about being awake, which makes it even harder to fall back asleep. So, how can we tackle this silent sleep thief? It's easier said than done, of course, but incorporating stress management techniques into your daily routine can be transformative. This doesn't have to be complicated. Simple practices like taking a few minutes each day for deep breathing exercises can make a difference. Just sitting quietly and focusing on your breath for 5 to 10 minutes can help calm your nervous system. Gentle activities like stretching, yoga, or Tai Chi in the late afternoon or early evening can help release physical tension that often accompanies mental stress. Even something as simple as listening to calming music, spending time in nature, or engaging in a hobby you love can help lower those stress hormones throughout the day, making it less likely they'll disrupt your sleep at night. For those persistent worries that seem to surface in the quiet of the night, try dedicating a worry time earlier in the evening, perhaps an hour or two before bed. Write down whatever is on your mind, get it out of your head and onto paper. Then, when you find yourself starting to worry in bed, you can tell yourself, "I've already thought about this. I'll revisit it during my worry time tomorrow," and try to gently redirect your thoughts. Beyond stress, our daily habits, particularly those related to light exposure and physical activity, also play a crucial role in regulating our internal body clock, known as the circadian rhythm. This internal clock dictates when we feel alert and when we feel sleepy. It's primarily influenced by light. Getting exposure to natural sunlight, especially in the morning, is incredibly important for setting this clock correctly. It tells your body it's daytime and helps regulate the production of melatonin, the hormone that makes you feel sleepy at night. If you're spending most of your day indoors, or not getting much exposure to bright light, your circadian rhythm can become disrupted, leading to difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. Conversely, exposure to artificial blue light from screens, phones, tablets, computers, TVs, in the hours before bed can suppress melatonin production. making it harder to feel sleepy and potentially contributing to those nighttime awakenings. So, make an effort to get outside for a walk or just sit by a window with natural light for at least 15–30 minutes each morning. In the evening, try to dim the lights in your home and avoid screens for at least an hour before bedtime. If you must use screens, use blue light filters. Physical activity is another cornerstone of good sleep. But like diet, the timing matters. Regular exercise can significantly improve sleep quality and duration, helping you fall asleep faster and sleep more deeply. It can also help reduce stress and anxiety. However, very vigorous exercise too close to bedtime can be stimulating for some people and make it harder to wind down. Aim to get your main exercise earlier in the day, ideally in the morning or afternoon. If you prefer evening activity, keep it moderate, like a gentle walk or stretching. The key is consistency, finding a balance with these daily habits, managing stress, getting the right kind of light exposure at the right time, and staying reasonably active work synergistically to support a healthy sleep cycle, making that 3 a.m. wake-up call less and less likely. But there are still a few more pieces to consider. As we bring all these threads together, let's touch on a couple more factors that often contribute to that frustrating 3 a.m. wake-up. First, the environment of your bedroom is far more important than you might think. Is your room dark enough? Even small amounts of light from streetlights, electronics, or cracks under the door can disrupt sleep. Consider blackout curtains or an eye mask. Is it quiet enough? Earplugs or a white noise machine can help mask disruptive sounds. And what about the temperature? Most sleep experts agree that a slightly cooler room is best for sleep. Somewhere between 60–67 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15–19 degrees Celsius. Being too hot or too cold can definitely pull you out of deep sleep. Making your bedroom a true sanctuary for sleep, dark, quiet, and cool, provides the optimal conditions for staying asleep once you drift off. Then there's the issue of needing to use the bathroom, which, as we touched on earlier regarding fluid intake, is a very common reason for waking in the night, and particularly frustrating if you can't get back to sleep afterwards. While reducing evening fluids helps, sometimes it's not just about drinking too much. It could be related to aging bodies and changes in bladder capacity, or even underlying conditions that cause more frequent urination. If you find this is a persistent problem despite limiting fluids, it's always a good idea to mention it to your doctor, as there might be simple medical reasons or solutions. However, often, if you wake up to use the bathroom and your mind is already buzzing with worries, the stress factor we discussed or your blood sugar has dipped the diet factor, it's much harder to fall back asleep than if you simply returned to bed, and were still feeling sleepy. This highlights how interconnected all these factors are. So, you see, waking up at 3 a.m. isn't usually one single, scary thing going wrong. It's often a combination of these elements. Slight imbalances in blood sugar influenced by your diet. The underlying hum of daily stress impacting your hormones. A circadian rhythm that's a little off-kilter due to light exposure or activity levels. Or an environment that isn't perfectly set for sleep. The reason it might feel shocking is that the solution isn't a magic pill or a complex medical procedure for most people. It's usually found in making relatively small, consistent adjustments across several areas of your daily life. It's about understanding how your body works and gently supporting its natural sleep processes. Don't feel overwhelmed by this list. You don't have to change everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 things that resonate with you the most and start there. Maybe it's adjusting your dinner time, adding a short walk in the morning, or committing to putting your phone away an hour before bed. Small changes really can make a big difference to your sleep quality and your overall health and happiness. Getting good sleep isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of well-being, especially as we get older. Better sleep can improve your mood, your energy levels, your memory, and your ability to handle stress during the day. If you've been struggling with these 3 a.m. wake-ups, you are definitely not alone. It's a very common experience. Have you tried any of these tips before? Or do you have something else that has worked wonders for you? We would absolutely love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. Sharing what works for you could be incredibly helpful to someone else in our community who is going through the exact same thing. If you found this video helpful and informative, please give it a like. That tells us we're providing content that's valuable to you. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. That way, you won't miss out on future videos packed with practical tips and insights to help you live your best life at every age. Remember, better sleep is within reach, and taking these steps is an investment in brighter, more energetic days ahead. Keep exploring, keep trying, and keep believing in your ability to improve your sleep and well-being. Live your best life at every age.